Hey, welcome everyone, Corey Hicks here, and today we're going to be talking about the Guitarist's bookshelf, or 5 different books I think every guitar player should own. And the first one is going to be The Advancing Guitarist by Mick Goodrick. And this book is just absolutely amazing. Mick Goodrick was a professor at Berklee College of Music for many, many years, hugely inspirational for a lot of different guitar players. And this book is going to go through all different types of scales, whether there are major scales in their modes, melodic minor in modes, harmonic minor in modes, triads, seventh chords, arpeggios, voice leading. It's going to talk about the complexity of the guitar. It's going to talk about how to practice, all sorts of different approaches, limiting exercises like playing on one string or 2 adjacent strings, intervals, all that type of stuff is going to be in here. And then he has a section on commentaries where he's going to be talking about things like, what do you do when you feel stale, or ways to kind of encourage creativity. So the first book is The Advancing Guitarist by Mick Goodrick. The second book is going to be For Guitar Players Only, and this is by Tommy Tedesco. Tommy Tedesco was one of the guitar players for the Wrecking Crew, which, if you haven't seen that documentary, go watch it. It's on all the studio musicians in the 1960s and 70s and all the hits that they played on. And basically he talks about playing guitar for a living. So what are the skills necessary for doing that? Everything from sight reading to comping to doubling on multiple instruments. He's going to talk about all that stuff in here. So if you want an insight into the studio scene, if you are interested in being a studio musician, or you just want to play guitar for a living, you have to own this book. Next is A Modern Method for Guitar by Bill Levitt. Bill Levitt was the head of the guitar program at Berklee College of Music for many, many years, and he wrote this wonderful book, and it's pretty thick as well. It takes a couple of years to get all the way through it, but if you're learning for a comprehensive method for learning how to sight read on the guitar, this will help you out. It also is going to go through every position on the guitar. It's going to talk about all the different scales, arpeggios, there's etudes, there's duets in here. Very highly recommended. And what I usually tell students is just devote 15 to 30 minutes a day on this book for a couple of years, and you will be 10 times the guitar player. Highly recommended. Millions of guitar players have bought and owned this book through the years, and it has made them better as a result. The next book is Effortless Mastery by Kenny Warner. So this is a book basically about psychology for musicians. And so what that basically means is if you're struggling in any way with just finding purpose in your musical life, or maybe you feel like you don't have it, or you're just not one of those guys that has it, or maybe you're feeling depressed about your playing, he talks about a lot of different things in here. Fear-based performing. Like for example, why when, it's 2 a.m. and it's the last song of the night, you play your best solo in front of 5 drunk people, but then you're playing in front of 2,000 people and a guitar player walks in, and all of a sudden you don't even know how to tune the thing, right? So fear-based performing, fear-based teaching, fear-based practicing, and it's going to help you out with a lot of different things that we all have struggled with. This is probably my 4th copy. I tend to loan this out a lot. I've read it dozens of times. It's a fantastic book, and I promise it'll help you out. Effortless Mastery by Kenny Warner. 5th book that I want to mention, I actually went looking for it this morning and I can't find it, so I'll just put an image up here on the screen, is Chord Chemistry by Ted Green. Ted Green is one of the most impressive chord chemists of all time, and I actually have a biography of his as well that I love to read. So basically, Ted Green came up with this book in the 1970s, and it's a way to kind of look at the guitar in a harmonic way that is probably a little bit different than you are currently looking at it. So you will learn literally thousands of chord voicings in this book. So let me give you an example. So let's say that he's showing you a chord. and it's going to look like this. So this is basically a root position, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, and then I have nothing on the high E string. So that's the shape that he's showing you. Okay? So when he's showing you the shape, what you're trying to do is you're trying to think of not just memorizing it as a fingering, but you're trying to memorize it as, you know, possibilities, right? If I take this and cycle forward, I could have C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, F sharp, B, E, A, D, and G. Okay, so those are all the different versions of it, right? And then I have a scale that goes along with that. So this is an A major scale that is inside of that chord that we just talked about, okay? But it's more than just that, because an A major chord can be the 1 chord in the key of A, but it can also be the 4 chord in the key of E or the 5 chord in the key of D. And so if I'm playing it as the 4 chord in the key of E, I have to think of it as an E major scale in this location, right? And that would make it, right, a Lydian, right? Or I can think of it as the 5 chord in the key of D, and here would be that scale, thinking of it as a Mixolydian scale. Okay? And then we can kind of think of it as just the intervals. So like I said, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, here's a 5, here's a 1. And so each one of these little tiny boxes in chord chemistry is a whole little world to itself. I used to spend 15 minutes a day going through each one of these little chord frames and investigating it, how many different possibilities there were. And if you do that, you're going to get a lot out of that book. And there's so much more in there as well. He shows you all sorts of comping examples. He shows you how to voice lead things really well. And it's a great book. Legend says it that Eric Johnson went through that entire book as a teenager, and I believe it. So, all right, so that's going to be it for today. I'm also starting something new where I'm going to be handing out 1 short a day of just basic things on the guitar, like where to find them. And like today I put out something on minor 7th arpeggios. So just these little quick things, like how do you play a diminished 7th chord on the low E string? Does it have inversions? So those things are going to be starting to come out starting today. All right. Well, if this content has been helpful for you, please like and share and subscribe. That really helps the channel out, trying to grow the channel here. I've had a lot of great feedback from you guys about all sorts of different things, so thank you very much. And thank you especially to those who have signed up for my Patreon. And if you'd like to do that, that information is in the description below. And you can sign up over there. I have all sorts of stuff over there. I have PDFs of a lot of the things we talk about on here. We have a little soloing contest over there going on right now, getting submissions for that. And then you can also get feedback on your playing. You can send me things. You can sign up for lessons. Right now I'm doing a lesson special for the month of July. And you can check that stuff out over there. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video. Okay. Bye-bye.